I wonder how adult-child relationship affects my cognitive learning and development as a child. Oh, I will ask Big Bro. Maybe knows it. Friends, can you come with me to find Big Bro? Great! Let's go find Big Bro! Hi, Big Bro! Hi, Dexter! Hi, friends! What happened? Big Bro, I have a question. What is it, Dexter? How adult-child relationship affects my cognitive learning and development? Oh, I'm glad you asked. Very young children learn almost everything within the relationship with an adult. They have the mental model of an adult, keeping them safe when they explore on their own. And I will discuss with you the two theories of how children learn with adults. The first is learning through imitation. The theory is called action representation. Action representation. Essentially, the mirroring neural network explains how imitation works. Imitation is the most powerful learning tool an infant has. Sociocultural theory emphasizes the importance of the older partner in a child's learning. The most important elements of this theory are the zone of proximal development, which is the set of information or skills that is beyond what the child knows, but within what the child could learn and understand with support from a more knowledgeable person. Scaffolding, which is the way the adult structures their contributions to give the child just enough help for them to solve the problem or take the next step alone. And the tools of the mind, which is a very important contribution that affect the idea of everything we see and learn. Big Bro, how about our knowledge during our first 3 years of life? Yes, I will describe some concepts that infants and toddlers master with their active minds. Infants and toddlers create a wealth of knowledge during the first 3 years of life. Some of the concepts they develop include object permanence, wherein a baby is making discoveries about the permanence of objects and persons. Cause and effect, wherein infants learn that people cause things to happen and that they can cause people to do things. Use of tools, wherein infants learn some things about the use of tools through their interactions with people. Use of space, wherein infants and toddlers learn that people have spatial relationships with each other and with the things in the world. Language and literacy, wherein infants quickly learn to use the sounds of language in turn-taking interactions with adults. Numbers, wherein it is the basic interest to infants and they do demonstrate a variety of early mathematical skills. Categories, which are groups of objects, people, or experiences that share some characteristics. Categorizing is a way to organize and manage information in the brain. The natural world, which is very interesting for infants and toddlers. Symbolic play, wherein infants and toddlers have countless day-to-day experiences with language, with family photographs, and picture books, with television, and with toy replicas of houses and cars and other real-life objects. Theory of mind, wherein children begin to understand that others have ideas, feelings, and desires that differ from their own at the age of 18 months, and the rules, beliefs, and values of their culture. Early learning guidelines for infants and toddlers describe what children should know and be able to do within certain age ranges. They have become an important tool for teachers in understanding learning and planning for individual children. The curriculum is a written plan that defines what infants and toddlers experience and what they will learn from the experience. It is important to choose or develop a curriculum based on a strong understanding of the science of learning and development. The most significant element in a child's learning is a responsive, committed adult partner. The adult engages emotionally with the child and expands on their exploration and discovery. Engaging environments invite the child to move, touch, taste, toss, handle, build, pretend, and follow all their questions and wonder.
Whoa! Now I realize the importance of adult-child relationship for cognitive learning and development of a child. Thank you, big bro.
You're welcome. How about let's say bye-bye to your friends and let's play with your toys. Okay? Okay, bye-bye.
Hi there kids, 𝘿𝙤𝙎𝘾 here, and have you ever questioned yourself na bakit kaya yung sky is color blue? Bakit kaya yung sugar ay matamis? Or bakit kaya maganda sa pandinig natin yung mga huni ng mga ibon kapag tayo ay nagigising sa umaga? So ilan lang yan sa mga paraan kung paano natin nag-gather information sa paligid natin. And I am here to discuss with you on how our sister, our little brother, or even the parents out there watching this video, we can discover on how our children learn. But before that, let us define first the two important terminologies for this entire video, and that is the senses and the brain. So first is the brain. So as we all know that the brain is an awesome organ of the nervous system. And the brain is where we do our thinking. All of our senses are tied into our brain, allowing us to experience the outside world or our environment. So now we do know the brain. Let us define the senses. But we do it in a creative way, using this song.
I have 2 eyes so I can see, and a nose to smell. I have 10 fingers that can touch, they do it very well. I have 2 ears so I can hear the birds up in the trees. I have a tongue inside my mouth to taste the food I eat. I have 2 eyes so I can see, and a nose to smell. I have 10 fingers that can touch, they do it very well. I have 2 ears so I can hear the birds up in the trees. I have a tongue inside my mouth to taste the food I eat.
That was a fantastic song, guys. Oh, hi there, Chip Chip. Are you saying something?
Yes, since we now know the senses let us related in the brain. All information is perceived by the brain through the senses. The brain sends sensory information in milliseconds. It is then quickly delivered to the part of the brain dedicated to storing that type of information. It establishes connections with previously stored knowledge in the brain. To a large extent, a baby's capacity for learning is contingent upon her ability to perceive sensory information, process it, make sense of it, and retain it.
Thank you for that wonderful information, Chip Chip. And let's continue, guys. So infants and toddlers have incredible learning capacities. They may scan the globe in a minute and understand the weight of information for you. So you are actively looking for information and building your knowledge. And so we are hardwired to learn first genetically. So our early sensory and social experiences cause our genes to focus and organize the information that we are gathering. So, did you remember the 5 senses that we have some? So we do have sense of sight, touch, hearing, taste, and smell. So let's tackle first the sight. So the young infant may look forward and intense. You can see from watching the gaze of newborns that they are eager to absorb as much information as possible and make sense of it. So newborns can track motion as far as 9 to 12 inches away, but to focus is little hazy. So medyo malabo-labo pa. So this gives the infant the delightful opportunity to stare into his mother's eyes as she is feeding him or other family members while he is being held. So kung mapapansin natin, pag may binubuhat tayong baby, tapos nakatulala sila sa atin, akala natin natutuwa sila sa mga mukha natin, pero nakatulala lang talaga sila. But it is hazy pa, medyo malabo-labo pa yung nakikita nila. So the baby first is peripheral vision in the first few months of life. So he will be particularly tuned by photographs with large contrast of light and dark. So itong table ay papakita ko sa iyo is yung progression of visual development of the infant and toddlers. Next is the sense of hearing. So infants may have here, even before the birth, newborns are aware of familiar sounds. So a newborn baby would suck harder and longer using specially constructed pacifiers in order to hear a voice that sounds similar to the mother's voice in the last few months of gestation. So newborns are unique pacifiers to show that they are preferred to listen to the language they heard pre-natally. So they even enjoy hearing stories their moms had read aloud during their pregnancy. So these milestones as demonstrated in this table na ipapakita ko ulit sa inyo, and it shows how babies attending to language. So at birth, newborns orient towards sound. So they notice sounds around them, such as when someone whispers to them. Or by around the age of 4 months, babies can grasp the bye-bye and the no. So they can make sweet and fine-tail sound. So in the range of 8 to 12 months, kids begin to utilize simple words such as the mama or the dada. Oh, hi there, Adam. So are you adding some information about this topic?
Yes.
Wow, thanks.
Since we now know the senses let us related in the brain. All information is perceived by the brain through the senses. The brain sends sensory information in milliseconds. It is then quickly delivered to the part of the brain dedicated to storing that type of information. It establishes connections with previously stored knowledge in the brain. To a large extent, a baby's capacity for learning is contingent upon her ability to perceive sensory information, process it, make sense of it, and retain it.
Next up is the sense of smell. So newborns use their sense of smells to help them identify their mother. So the hypothesis that smell may be involved in the development of attachment is feasible. So secondary redundancy combines smell and other senses to give us a more realistic perception of the world around us. So this implies we can give various sensory information in the same experience, which leads us to a more accurate mental image. And lastly is the sense of taste. So babies are born able to taste sweet, sour, and bitter. So newborns like sweet taste and will bring their hands to their mouths when giving something sweet. So babies have incredibly individual tastes. So as 6 months, some infants eagerly accept new foods. So others clearly shows that they prefer to stick with what they know. So the research shows that it may have more to do with kids' temperament and their willingness to take chances than it does with the way they taste. Oh, hi there, Alex. Will you help me to summarize this video?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
All in all, babies use their senses, though we often view them as separate information gathering modalities. Newborns are capable of amodal and multimodal learning. They are able to convert information from one sense to another. Even if you've never experienced the object, this will happen. They may blend information from 2 or more senses. It appears that neonates have the ability to transmit information between sensory modalities.
And that's a wrap for today's video. I hope you learned something from us, and I hope you may share this video to your friends or your family. See you on the next episode. Bye!
Hi! Good day everyone, I'm Marielle B. For today's topic, I'm going to discuss about motor skills learning and development. But first, do you have any idea about it? Okay, I'm going to start for you guys to learn something about child's motor skills. Let's go! Let me define first what is motor skills. Motor skills enable the movements children need for everyday tasks, from feeding themselves to moving from place to place. Typically, children develop certain motor skills at specific ages, but not every child will reach milestones at precisely the same time. A child with motor impairments has trouble moving in a controlled, coordinated, and efficient way. If your child seems to be delayed in developing fine or gross motor skills, they will likely undergo an assessment and may require physical or occupational therapy to catch up. Motor skills are broken up into 2 categories. The first one is gross motor skills and the second one is fine motor skills. But now, I'm going to discuss about the gross motor skills. And the other one will be discussed by my partner, Pamela Rapsi. Mastering both motor skills are important for children's growth and independence. Gross motor skills development involves the large muscles in the arms, legs, and torso. As the baby grows and start to investigate their surroundings, they develop new skills. Gross motor activities are important to everyday physical activities like walking, running, throwing, lifting, kicking, etc. Gross motor abilities also form from the basis for fine motor skills and relate to body awareness, reaction speed, balance, and strength. So, let's learn more about all developmental milestones by age. So, let's watch this video for you guys to have more knowledge about gross motor skills. Motor development milestone 0 to 2 months. As your baby's startle reflex fades, you notice that their movements become more voluntary and controlled. Next, 3 to 4 months. Typically, babies start to move, and they will start to roll from their back to their side. 5 months. 5 months. The baby will sit with a little bit of help from caregiver. Then, 6 to 8 months. They start sliding around on their tummy to explore. 9 to 11 months. In this month, they will start to crawl, stand, and walk with 2 hands held. 11 to 12 months. At this stage, the baby can walk with 1 hand held and can stand alone by their own. 13 to 14 months. They can walk alone and can stand up without the help of caregiver. 2 years. The child can jump with both feet. 3 years. A child's leg muscles get stronger. 4 years. A child can walk up and down the stairs. 5 years. A child can ride a bicycle. Gross motor delays when the child is not rolling, crawling, walking, or doing other gross motor activities when the child is the right age to do those things. Gross motor activities are big movements that use the arms, legs, and torso. Many children with a gross motor delay are able to do the activity at some point, but just do it later than most children their age. In some cases, the gross motor delay is a sign of more serious problem. Your child pediatrician will help you understand if a child gross motor delay is something to worry about. It's important to take your child to the pediatrician for all the child's checkups so the pediatrician can find any problems as soon as possible. Take your child to all checkups so the pediatrician can make sure your child is growing normally. When gross motor delay is due to a medical problem, it can have several causes. The first one is premature birth. Second, genetic disorders such as Down syndrome. Third, neuromuscular or nerve and muscle disorder. Third, a developmental problem such as autism. Treatments. Some gross motor delays resolve on their own. The child simply does the activity later than the other children. The pediatrician may also recommend physical therapy or exercises to help the child develop strength and coordination. Prevention. Gross motor delays have so many causes, both known and unknown, so it is difficult to prevent them. It is always helpful to give your child opportunities to practice motor skills. Encourage children to try the skills when they are old enough to do so. Give children the opportunity to play, move, explore, and try new skills with your help.
What are the fine motor skills? We use a motor skill to make small movement. This movement comes so naturally to most people that we usually don't think about them. Fine motor skills are complex, however, they involve the coordinated efforts of the brain and muscles. They are built on the gross motor skill that allows to make a bigger movement. Fine motor skills are achieved when children learn to use the smaller muscle, like muscle in the hands, finger, and wrist. Children use their fine motor skill when writing, holding small items, buttoning clothing, turning page, eating, cutting with scissors, and using the computer keyboards. Building fine motor skill at home. Your children might be able to get a support at school at fine motor skill are challenging, but there are things that you can do at home improve your children's abilities to do. Your child needs fine motor skill to fine things such as holding pencil as scissors, writing, cutting, threading beds, playing with Legos, buttoning up the that empathy are often used as part of the heavy working component and sensory die. They can also help improve the fine motor skill. Encourage your children to scratch, punch, and roll snake and worms with the clay. You can even have your child try to cut the play dough with a scissors. Number 2, painting. Different types of painting can help strengthen your child and high coordination and manual alternating finger. Painting gives kids an opportunity to use their hands and to get the mess. With a sponge, a new clean sponge, some clay, water, and 2 bowls are you need to another activity to build fine motor skill. Fill a bowl and will later leave the other empty. Your child can soak the sponge in the water, then squeeze out the sponge into the other bowl. Rice and rice. Divide a handful ang cooking rice into 2 plastic bowls. Have an empty bowl. Harden your child's small plastic twister and grab a paint for yourself. They have a race to see who can be first to transfer their rice into the empty bowl using the freezer. If your child is struggling because the string for rice are too small, or many want to begin with 𝘿𝙎𝙎𝙀, ready and punish. 5. Water play. Fill about a quarter full of water. Give your child in an empty cup and a drop or clean medicine syringe. Have your child try to transfer the water from the one cup to the other by drawing the water into dropper, stringing, and then dropping a quarting into the empty cup. You could also give your child more cups and a food coloring into the water and make this color mixing experiment. Number 6, gardening and planting. Digging a gardening may seem like activity more associated with building gross motor skill, but they are parts of the require smaller muscle control too. For instance, trapping seedling into garden requires eye coordination to skill safety carrying the smaller to plant to the hole.
Hi everyone, I'm JP and I'm here to discuss the language learning and development of infants and toddlers. But before that, let's define language.
Language is the ability to use words or signs if the language is one of the sign languages of depth and to combine them in sentences so that thoughts in our mind can be transmitted to other people. How can infants and toddlers acquire the language? Infants and toddlers acquire the language through social interactions.
Rock-a-bye baby on the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall. But mama will catch you, cradle and all.
Here's the language capabilities of infants. 0 to 4 months infant. Four to 8 months infant. 8 to 12 months infant. 8 unique characteristics of the child. Infants are born with the capacity to be communicators. Their brains are designed to learn a language with responsive adults. Gender. In terms of gender, girls gesture, talk earlier, use more two-words combination, have larger vocabularies than boys. Based on a study, it shows that girls are only slightly ahead of boys or around 3 months ahead of boys in development. In contrary, there's also study shows that gender of children ages 16 to 28 months have no any significant differences in vocabulary, pragmatic skills, grammar skills, and the maximum length of utterance. In conclusion, it can be biological differences, involvement in more language opportunities, and the experiences in why girls may talk earlier than boys. So the parents and teachers should encourage infant boy a higher levels of language encouragement. Temperament. Infants and toddlers differ in how they express emotions. Some children express more feelings of distress, frustration, and even anger. Other children express more feelings of joy, excitement, and pleasure. Earlier talkers express more positive feelings, while later talkers express more negative feelings. Knowing the child in language development. Receptive, expressive, and pragmatic. Receptive language. In receptive language, young children can hear the differences between all the consonants and vowels used in any language. Second, young children can speak any language that they hear frequently. Third, young children can follow simple directions. And lastly, young children accomplish at what is called past mapping, quickly attaching a name to an object. Expressive language. In expressive language, young children communicate in a variety of ways, one of which is to cry when they are in pain, hungry, or distressed. Second, they begin to demonstrate through their movements and facial expressions that they anticipate that their sounds and nonverbal communication will get a reaction from an adult. Third, they also begin to babble. Fourth, they begin to point to objects and people with their tiny index finger. Fourth, they focus on learning words rather than gestures. Pragmatics. The purposes of language. Toddlers from 12 to 18 months use gestures, sounds, and words to reject, request, question, comment, refuse, demand, and inform. Effects of hearing impairment and other special needs. First, it may predict later language and reading challenges. Second, an infant who is hearing impaired may not turn her head toward a voice or look around when her own name is called. Third, older infants may babble, but the quality is different from typically developing children, and babbling may diminish between 8 and 12 months. Fourth, infants and toddlers with hearing impairment may watch adults' gestures carefully and have a hard time following simple directions from words alone. Lastly, infants may also be delayed in saying their first words and sentences. Adult-child relationship. Adult-child relationship is beneficial to infants and toddlers because first, it helps them to understand that their communication attempts will get a response. Second, it supports their growing pragmatic understanding that language is a tool that enables intents to be shared socially. Third, it helps them to learn the purposes or the pragmatics of conversation. Fourth, it builds their skills in becoming a conversational partner and a capable communicator. Fifth, it helps them using sound and words while still maintaining many nonverbal ways to communicate. Sixth, it directly affects how they learn to talk and build their vocabulary. Seventh, it enhances their language development. Eighth, it encourages, expand, elaborate, and extend their language. Ninth, it supports their tendency to stay on the topic. 10th, it directs their attention to the focus of the conversation. 11th, it's perfect for them, especially for toddlers who are exerting their independence from adults. 12th, it helps them to learn that holding a conversation means taking turns with listening and talking. So they will look at you intently, waiting as patiently as they can for you to finish what you want to say. And lastly, it is crucial to their enjoyable language learning. Influence of culture. Children as conversational partners in different cultures. In the United States and Western Europe, the adult treats the child as a person who is capable of taking a conversational turn, including waiting while the adult speaks. In some cultures, adult thinks that children can participate in conversations more when they are older. Language, content, and culture. The content of adults' language with children may also differ by families and cultures. Key research concerning children's acquisition of 2 or more languages. Dual language learners. Children may be learning 2 or more languages. Most infants and toddlers do have the brain capacity to hear the differences in the sounds and sequence of different languages. Young children are also able to learn the vocabulary of both languages and to speak 2 languages simultaneously. Strategies to support language learning and development. Strategies to support language development and learning. Program practices that enhance language learning and development. It characterized by 2. First, childcare and learning programs, relationships, and responsive interactions. The quality of the environment is correlated with the language outcomes for infants and toddlers, both receptive language and expressive communication skills. Second, early prevention and intervention programs. Early Head Start supports young children's early language development. Teachers are taught to engage in descriptive language discussions with children. Then, teachers also work closely with family members in an early Head Start.